Over here we have Canada. The bridge over here is the bridge we looked at earlier.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, this water comes from this great lakes, down.
So is this Niagara Falls, or was the other one Niagara? Oh, right. This is Horseshoe Falls, which you can really see much better from the Canadian side, I think. Not such a good view from up there. And over there is Canada.
side. Right, I can tell you tonight though, if that works.
Yeah. Right there. They're posing. This is the night view of Niagara Falls, if you can hear me. It's quite impressive. They light it up with all these lights. See all that steam rising off down there. Quite incredible. Over there, the lights obviously are coming from the Canadian side, as you can see over there. Don't come more impressive than that. This is a bit harder to see. They've just changed the colours. I don't think it's going to work. It's probably on max anyway. Yeah, it's on max anyway. Yeah, you probably can't see it that well, unfortunately now. However, the falls now look a shade of pink. Over in the distance you can see a bit clearer.
Too dark. Yeah. Not coloured here, is it? In the light there.
Some cheese.
Why do people always wave to the camera?
I don't know, why do people always wave to the camera?
I don't know, it was on Home Improvement last night.
Oh yeah.
better than bloody all the down. That. Oh yeah, did it not work?
No.
Come down the stairs.
I don't think they'd appreciate that. Smile.
Smiling.
Never give me permission. In case you haven't guessed, we're in Boston at the moment, and these are just random scenes from the park. This is the rather depressing lake in the park, which is empty. 4 ducks down there.
You could have left out. Pigeons, geese, duck, squirrels.
Duck. Right. Must have a name. This is Edward Everett Hale. Whoever he is. USS Constitution.
And museum.
Surely that should be able. The pub you're looking at right now is the inspiration for Cheers. The producers, when looking for a pub to base Cheers around, came to Boston, also Boston, and looked at all the pubs in Boston, and they came back to this pub, which wasn't called Cheers at the time. It was called something else. I can't remember what it was called, but now it's been renamed Cheers because of the show. So we're just going to go in and have a drink. So, cheers.
Back aggressive.
Yeah.
From the Bronx, they can't do that well. It's awfully what the hell did he?
Hey, you can do.
That is the State House. As you can see, its gold dome is one of Boston's most recognisable landmarks. Samuel Adams laid the cornerstone in 1795. This statue or plaque is the first African Americans arriving in Boston in February of 1960. Okay, this signifies the first African Americans arriving in Boston in February of 1638, just 8 years after the city was founded.
And I believe that's Samuel Adams, isn't it, Grant? No, actually it's Robert Gold, sorry. Robert Gold, sure.
Next to the Granary Burial Ground at the corner of the bar in Tremont Street, just to the right. This church was built in 1809. The white steepled church, with its original exterior, is a striking example of the architecture of the period. William Lloyd Garrison gave his first anti-slavery address here in 1829. And also the song America was first sung publicly at this 1809 landmark on July the 4th, 1831.
Thank you.
This is the granary burial ground, so named because it's next to the site of Boston's first granary. It's the final resting place of many illustrious Americans: John Hancock, Samuel Adams, Paul Revere, parents of Benjamin Franklin. Also buried here are the victims of the Boston Massacre. The graves of some Americans' greatest patriots, as I said before, Samuel Adams, are here. The first Anglican congregation in Boston was founded on Tremont Street in 1688. The present structure was completed in 1754. In colonial times, the church was favoured by gifts of silver investments from Queen Anne and King George III. After the Revolution, it became America's first Unitarian church. In the burial ground next door are the graves of Governor John Winthrop and William Dawes Jr. Old City Hall, or the site of the first public school, and the Franklin statue just to the left. Built in 1635, the first of the country's public schools was attended by Samuel Adams and Benjamin Franklin. It later became Boston's Latin School. Designed by Richard S. Greener, the portrait statue of Franklin, the first erected in Boston, commemorates one of the city's most versatile sons. The bronze tablets highlight Franklin's career as a printer, scientist, and signer of the Declaration of Independence and the peace treaty with France.
Of course is Benjamin Franklin. He signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th. Yeah, July 4th, 1776.
In 1712, as the home of Thomas Creese, this building was the centre of
Literary.
Thank you. Boston in the 19th century. Here's such greats as Longfellow, Emerson, Hawthorne used to meet and chat. Now maintained as a book shop.
Okay.
The Old South Meeting House has been a key gathering place for Bostonians since its construction in 1729. as a Putin house of worship. Today, its multimedia exhibition leads visitors back through Old South's past, highlighting through sight and sound its role as host to the Boston Tea Party. It was built in 1670 and replaced in 1729. It was the starting point of the Boston Tea Party. No tax on tea, please.
This is the old State House, I believe. Hopefully Mr. Christmas will narrate it for you in a second.
Washington and State Street was built in 1713. This was the street of Massachusetts colonial government. Washington and State Street, built in 1713. This was the seat of Massachusetts colonial government and is the oldest public building in Boston. Here in 1766, the first gallery from which the public could watch government in action was opened. From the east balcony, the Declaration of Independence was first read to the citizens of Boston. The old State House is a newly renovated museum of Boston history, maintained by the Bostonian Society.
Yeah, that's the east balcony where the Declaration of Independence was read out for the first time to the American people. So imagine, is it Benjamin Franklin that did that grant? That read it out to the American people? Does it not say?
No, the citizens of Boston. Sorry, read to the citizens of Boston.
By whom? Does it say?
Just to the government.
Oh, okay.
It was read on July the 18th, 1776.
Ah.
Okay, let's
Just out of interest, Samuel Adams also has a beer named after him. Just thought you might like to know that.
Peter Farrell, I think it's pronounced, donated this building to the city in 1742. It was enlarged in 1806. The lower floor has also been a market, the second, a meeting hall, which the Marquis de Lafayette called the cradle of American liberty, because of the protests against British policy voiced here. And the third level houses the ancient and honourable Artillery Company Museum. Historical talks in the second floor, meeting hall offered by National Park Service Rangers. Now, there used to be, on top of that building, a dome, which is like as you can see in this book here.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why that's
Sorry, that's good. Oh yeah, it's missing
so
the
that's a bit
dome.
odd. How bizarre. Okay, this is the Boston Massacre site. Alongside the old State House, a circle of cobblestones marks the site where on March the 5th, 1770, a British guard of 9 soldiers clashed with an unruly mob, resulting in the death of 5 colonists. The incident further aggravated the political situation that was to explode into the revolution. Also to the right, it's Quincy Market. The refurbished Quincy Market, it is a prime example. The refurbished Quincy Market is a prime example of adapting old structures for modern use. Its restaurants, stores, shops, boutiques, exhibits, food markets, and entertainment make a visit here a memorable experience. Nearby is the waterfront and the Boston Harbour, one of the nation's oldest ports.
This tavern here is the Oldest tavern in America, established in 1795. Called the Hand Tavern. Hasn't got anything about this on the thing, has it got?
This house, built about 1680, is the oldest surviving structure in Boston. With its leaded windows, large fireplace and old furnishings, this two-storey wooden dwelling served as the Patriots' home from 1770 to 1800. While living here, Revere, a brilliant silversmith, engraved his famous scene of the Boston Massacre, took part in the Boston Tea Party in December 1773, and on the night of April 18, 1775, departed on his historic ride to warn the residents of Lexington and Concord of the approach of the British Redcoats.
This is a statue of Paul Revere on horseback.
The books, we're trying to get the books. Wilmot was trying to get the books. She said she didn't have any. She had kept the books for like 20 years.
Okay, as you saw from the sign, this is St. Stephen's Church. Just along Paul Revere Mall, which leads up to the other church, which you can just see at the end there.
That's the Old North Church, an episcopal church built in 1723 as a house of prayer for all people. Old North, or officially Christ Church in the city of Boston, is the city's oldest church building. From its steeple, on the evening of April the 18th, 1775, Sexton Robert Newman displayed 2 lanterns, indicating that the British regulars were leaving Boston by the waters of the Charles River, on their way to Lexington and Concord. This signal symbolically set in motion the American War for Independence and sent Paul Revere on his ride to Lexington.
So Paul Revere was the patriot.
Yes. He didn't like the British.
So episcopal must mean a church for all religions, I'm guessing. Oh no, it would have been
1600 car.
I think so. I don't know actually. That's a good point. I don't know much about our own history.
This is the Cops Hill Burial Ground. Began as a cemetery in the 1600s, this site overlooking Boston Harbour was used by the British as a century later as an emplacement for the cannon that fired on the Americans at Bunker Hill across the harbour in Charlestown. Buried here are Cotton Mather and Edmund Hart, builder of the USS Constitution.
see that monument over there?
This is Boston Harbour. There's lots of nice yachts down there, as you can see. There's a tall ship in the distance behind that building there as well. Very nice area.
Go. This is the Bunker Hill Monument. This towering obelisk commemorates the first major battle of the Revolution, fought on this ground in 1775 on June 17th.
June the 7th, oh, so, yeah.
It's 220 feet tall and you can climb it if you wish to come here.
Does it cost money?
Already.
We're not flattering for me.
That's funny.
Where you guys visiting from? Roger, guys. Came all that way, huh? Yeah. Now about here? Okay. Good. Let's have a short talk if you'd like to come in and listen. If you don't want to listen, you can walk around. I'll still give it a talk. Where are you visiting from? Yeah, he gave that, and there was actually many people who gave a similar type of. There's one Abercrombie in Parliament said victories such as this will destroy the army. Yeah. So that was a general consensus that this was a Pyrrhic victory. It was not a true victory in a sense. And actually, this battle affected the British Army later. When at one point in March of '76, George Washington placed Canada over Dorchester.
The only question I had was it was a psychological
Right. They gave them the reason they realized they looked at their strategy and said, we don't need to keep Boston right now. The rest of the troops are coming down from north and coming up from New York. And then the Battle of Saratoga takes place, which defeats that whole idea. So those are there.
that hopefully is what you're talking about.
That's part of it.
People got hit from the wall and it was after the
And they realized also that the ships coming in to resupply them, so they would go right under the guns. They were surrounded. If they really did it that way, they were surrounded. Their ships coming in would be to return. There's almost completely surrounded. There's no other way to do things. So rather than try to fight out piecemeal, they drew Washington's forces down there. They tried to limit by trying to seize New then they found that. He's also responsible for the lack of
This is the USS Constitution. Yes, please. Go.
This is the USS Constitution, nicknamed the Old Ironsides. After British cannonballs were seen to glance off our side due to the solid oak construction. This frigate, berthed at the Charlestown Naval Yard Pier 1, was undefeated in a succession of major encounters with the British fleet in the War of 1812. Open every day of the year for tours, the ship launched in Boston in 1797 is currently in Dry Dock 1, John Quincy Adams Dry Dock for repairs and inspection. In service. USS Constitution is the oldest commissioned warship afloat in the world. Every day, rain or shine, US naval sailors in 1812 uniforms provide free guided tours from 9:30 to 3:50 and unguided top deck tours from 3:50 until sunset.
This warehouse was owned by the White Star Lines, who own the Titanic.
Now for you guys that's doing the Freedom Trail, you climb to the top of the Buckhead Monument. Just picture yourself climbing to the top of that mast. Now every sailor you see here in uniform, we are all active. Now all the way back half, we have what we call the mizzen mast. The mizzen mast stands at 172 feet. how the Navy came to play. In the early 1700s, independent. Well, President George Washington said, hey, we're not going to pay you guys this ransom, and you guys keep the ransom.
Some of you guys can start going down these ladder wells.
Have you ever been down on the Portsmouth story?
No, I haven't actually.
It's very similar. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys watch your head. Feel safe to move in from me. The barber chair, right behind you guys, where I told everyone to meet up. It's where the crew members will get their weekly haircuts. You had a crew that consisted of 450 to 500 men. Now in the Navy they have the term crew cut. How they got that term? The captain will order the whole crew on this deck to get their haircuts. That's how they got the term crew cut. Now right here to my left is known as the scuttlebutt. It's a drinking fountain. Scuttle being the hole in the top and barrel would be the butt. Now this is where the crew members got their daily rations of water. They got 3 pints of water a day. They could drink it, bathe, or wash their clothes. What do you think they did with it? They drink it because they want to stay hydrated, right? Well, let me give you guys a little bit of history about this water. Being in the Navy, you go on 6 to 9 month deployments. Say you're out to sea for about 3 months, and this barrel, the scuttlebutt has become empty. The cook will have to go 2 decks down below us, which is the orlop deck, the main storage deck, to grab a new scuttlebutt and bring it up here. Now, throughout these 3 months, algae has grown inside this barrel. Also, bugs and weevils have grown inside this barrel. It has collected the term lively water. So do you actually think the crew members still drink this water? No. Yes, because they still want to stay hydrated. Now, also at the scuttlebutt, they also collected the term rumors and gossip, because at the scuttlebutt was the only place the crew members were able to speak. On the spar deck, the deck that we just left from, you had the captain and his officers giving orders on how to sail the ship and when to fire the cannons. Well, one deck down below us, you have the crew members sleeping side by side in hammock. 250 guys sleeping, 250 working on 4-hour rotations. You didn't want to wake your shipmate up on his 4-hour rotation because he would return the favor later, right? Well, to go along with this water, they ate salted beef and pork, dried peas and carrots, and hardtack biscuits. For you guys that don't know what a hardtack biscuit is, just picture a white hockey puck. Now, the salted beef and pork was preserved in salt packages because they didn't have any refrigerators or deep freezers to keep their meat fresh. So, the cook that will be preparing this salted beef and pork will be located to my left. The big black object, the galley stove, the camboose. Now this meat was so salty that what they did was they took this casket and filled it 3/4 of the way with salt water. Now the cook would take this meat and dip it in this harness casket because this meat was more saltier than the salt water. The salt water was used to take out some of the salt that is in this meat. Now the crew members thought that the meat tasted like horse's meat. They thought if they would have tipped this casket over that a horse's head with his harness attached to it would come out. That's how it got its nickname, the harness casket. Now to wash this horrible meat down and to build up a little morale in the Navy, they would use their rum and whiskey, which we located to my right, the grog tub. Now keep in mind, and you guys paint a picture in your head about this rum and whiskey. Now they got a 1/2 pint for lunch and a 1/2 pint for dinner. Now this rum and whiskey was only 150 proof. No, I'm dead serious, and I'll tell you guys, what happened. Well, the crew members, they got immune to their rum and whiskey. They started saving it, and I'll tell you why they started saving it. Because they didn't have any hearing protection, and they didn't also have any antibiotics or painkillers back then. Now keep in mind, I'll tell you why you needed this. Now this right here is a 5,600-pound lone gun. It fires a 24-pound shot at about 1,200 yards. At about 400 yards, it can penetrate 2 feet of oak wood. After firing one cannon on board this deck, this whole deck will be filled with smoke. Now with me saying that, this was the only line to keep this cannon from going straight across the deck. After the cannon was fired, it had a recoil of about 30 to 40 miles an hour, and it came back at about 6 feet. Now this one line just stopped the cannon from going straight across the deck. Now when this cannon landed, it started bouncing around. Well, you got this cannon firing and that cannon firing, you don't know which way the cannon is going. Half of the crew members didn't have shoes back then. Their toes would get smashed, their fingers would get smashed, they get ran over by the cannon. They also, their eardrums would burst after firing this cannon because they didn't have any hearing protection. Well, this rum and whiskey was used as like a painkiller. They started saving their rum and whiskey from Monday to Sunday. Now it's Sunday morning, I have 7 pints of rum and whiskey, so I decided to drink it and go out in town. That's where they got the term drunken sailor from. I know you guys haven't heard that before, right? Well, that's a known fact. They were drinking and go out in town. That's where they got the term drunken sailor from. They also started drinking it and falling asleep on watch. Well, in the Navy, that's a very bad thing to do. Well, everyone tried to keep it from the captain. They didn't want them to know that they were saving their rum and whiskey. So what they did was the captain switched over to grog. Grog was made up of your lively water and your rum and whiskey. With this lively water added in at a 24 to 36 hour time period, it would make your rum and whiskey go bad. So the crew members that were saving their rum and whiskey, they became ill. They would go to the captain saying, "Sir, I'm sick. What do you want me to do?" The captain will order you to go down to sick bay. Sick bay is on the burning deck, all the way forward, the most rockiest part of the ship. If you weren't sick going down to sick bay, trust me, you'll be very sick on your way back. Now, everyone knows the nickname of the ship, right? Old Ironsides, because the sides are made of iron? No. Do we have iron on board? Yes. Alright, now you guys are right. The size of the ship is made up of 25 inches thick of oak wood. There's two different types. You have white oak, which is the inner layer, and the outer layer. And you also have live oak. Live oak is in the middle. Live oak is the type of wood that is so strong and so dense that if you were to take a plank out and throw it in the harbor, it would actually sink. Now this came to play with the British. The British had a nickname for our first 6 ships called fur-built frigates because they knew we never owned the Navy before and we never built the ship. So they thought that their cannonballs would just plow through our sides and they would just, you know, go away victoriously. Well, off the coast of Nova Scotia, August the 19th, 1812, the HMS Guerriere, the British ship, started firing their long guns upon USS Constitution. The cannonballs started to bounce off. They get even closer at about 500 yards, cannonballs bounce off. They get even closer at 25 yards away. Now, like I said, these long guns at 400 yards can penetrate 2 feet of oak wood. Cannonballs bounce off. Well, one of their sailors shouted out, "Huzzah! Our sides are made of iron." Our captain heard it and thought it was very unique, so he kept the name Ironsides instead of fur-built frigates. Well, within about 15 minutes in this battle, we take out Guerriere's main and mizzen masts. Within about 20 minutes in this battle, we take out her foremast. Within about 35 minutes, we defeated the HMS Guerriere and headed back to Boston. It was one of the shortest battles ever done in naval history. Now, we're going to move back aft. As we move back aft, I want you guys to... Okay. After the battle with the HMS Guerriere, the British try again. We have a cannonball come over the sides of our ship. We're shot by our short-range cannons, known as the carronades. They fired a 32-pound shot at about 400 yards. Well, the British fire one of their carronades. They smash our helm. Now we have nowhere to steer the ship. Well, the captain sent 39 Marines down below on the berthing deck all the way aft to what is known the tiller room to man a 4-ton rudder. This ship weighed Marines knew that, and so they crashed into the job, but not once but twice. We punch a hole in their hull, we bombard that ship. What is the first thing you guys think we took off the HMS Java? The helm. Now, who said Marines aren't smart? So you guys go back and retract that. See, you guys started laughing. You started funny, right? Well, they took the helm and took all of the...
Nelson? Is he defeated by this ship?
No, it's just...
What's that?
Joke. Nelson's got a plan, hasn't he? Pirates of the Caribbean, isn't it?
Yeah.
Decommissioning the ship. They had took her out, put her in dry dock, and they started to tear her apart because the ship was in very, very bad condition. Well, a Harvard grad student by the name of Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote a poem called Old Ironsides. And in his poem, he was saying, "How dare you destroy this naval ship? If you're going to do it the right way. Take her out to sea, blow her up, and bury her at sea where she belongs." Well, the people out in Boston, they started to back him up. They started writing death threats to the Secretary of the Navy.
Probably can't see it, but it's actually snowing out there for the first time. Yeah, we should be able to make out the snow a bit better now. It's out there. Oh, right. Ah, okay.
They also might be.
I just told him to get out. Leave him alone. Can we ask Dee? No, don't take too many pictures from up here.
Okay, I'm gonna stay.
Be careful now, you're gonna get that bar. Can you squat?
Yeah, that's my last picture.
Okay, did you show you what that gold cup was? Did you put up the gold cup? The bridge? Did you see the display that talking about where the gold cup was? No, we're in the bucket. That's for St. Patrick's Day.
this dive. Come on, let's go to the...
Et nous on l'a remonté comment en niveau? Ouais. On l'a remonté comme ça. Pas sympathique.
Can you move right in to a car? Cool. That's really
Just about see it.
Imagine you throw this and it's going to take these things.
Good coat.
This is the amateur with the camera now.
I lost my dollar.
Now, it was clear earlier. Unfortunately, the snow clouds have rolled in, which is a bit chilly.
Yeah, it's gone brown.
Oh yeah, I did, I thought. But it'd be howling.
Stop.
Again?
Okay, we are here at the UN in New York, UN HQ. There's our flag. Very important.
Guided tours featuring the General Assembly Hall, Council Chambers and works of art from the member nations.
United Board, beginning from A to Z. The first flag is the flag of what's called A, which was Afghanistan. And the last one is the flag of Zimbabwe. Thank you. Now, in the middle, that's the flag of the United Nations, which flies high above the heads of the member states without exception every day. Today, you're lucky, I should say, because you see the national flag. This morning at about 8 o'clock, and then we will do. All right, let's take a look at what happened during the Second World War. So people suffered in the Second World War. In the middle, you see the 4 giant armed fingers implant the emblem of the United Nations. This is a symbol of the creation of the United Nations. The United Nations was created at the end of the Second World War in 1945. The last part shows the resurrection of the looking forward for the life after the United Nations was created. Now let's go to this green.
As we go out.
Yeah. I can see Ireland. Where's Ireland? Just down on 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 22% up. Out of the 1.6 billion. Based on ideas and Conan, 50 years ago, nobody had to imagine this is this is your imagination, that's my imagination.
The general public can't come into the general
Well, for the meetings of the general assembly, most of them are open to the public, except the general debate and heads of state comes otherwise it's not around.
There's some time to recall now.
Yes.
My wife isn't with me, she's at meetings today. She's attending the conference.
Okay, emergency session, that's right. Sometimes emergency session. For example.
12 minutes left. Yeah. Oh, 9 minutes I've got left. 9 minutes left. No, I haven't yet. So I've got over there in the distance. You can just make out the Brooklyn Bridge next to the Manhattan skyline. This island that you can see over here is actually abandoned. No one lives there, despite the amount of houses and that's on there. Can't remember what it's called, but the only people that are actually on the island are like park rangers and that. Yes, I know.
Please place all trash in the receptacle.
might be on the other side actually, Dave.
Sorry?
Last year, or last 2 years, we might.
Okay, this is Little Italy. We've taken us a little while to find it. Just walked through Chinatown.
Got what?
Starbucks hasn't got any Chinese writing on it yet. This is New York City Library.
What's that?